How to learn words. Leo often felt a knot in his stomach when English conversations started nearby. He understood bits and pieces, but forming coherent sentences felt like navigating a dense fog. His vocabulary was a scattered collection, and his mind raced trying to translate thoughts, a process that invariably led to awkward silences. He longed for the day he could truly express himself clearly and effortlessly. The desire to connect globally, to travel without language barriers, and to advance his career ignited a fierce determination within him. He envisioned himself confidently engaging with international colleagues, sharing ideas, and understanding diverse perspectives without hesitation. This powerful dream became his driving force, pushing him past the initial frustrations and self-doubt. His first attempt at learning words involved endless lists and rote memorization from dictionaries. He'd painstakingly write down word after word, repeating them aloud like a mantra. However, when it came to using these words in actual conversation, they often vanished from his memory, elusive and disconnected from any real meaning or context. Soon, Leo discovered the power of learning words in context, not in isolation. He started noticing how new vocabulary appeared in sentences, understanding its nuances from surrounding phrases. Reading articles, watching news, and analyzing song lyrics became his new, engaging classroom, making words stick far more effectively in his mind. He then embraced smart flashcard apps, actively recalling definitions and example sentences. Instead of just recognizing words, he forced himself to produce them, strengthening the neural pathways. This active recall method, combined with spaced repetition, transformed his vocabulary acquisition, making him remember new terms with remarkable efficiency and accuracy. Reading widely became Leo's secret weapon for vocabulary expansion. He devoured novels, nonfiction, and even online forums, exposing himself to an immense range of terminology. Every new book or article offered a treasure trove of expressions, idioms, and specialized words, organically integrating them into his ever-growing linguistic repertoire. The next significant hurdle was transitioning from merely knowing words to actually thinking in English. Leo realized his mind was still translating his native language, slowing down his responses. He began a conscious effort to internalize English, bypassing the mental translation stage altogether, aiming for direct thought. Thinking directly in English dramatically improved his fluency and speed. When he stopped translating, words flowed more naturally, forming complete thoughts with less effort. This mental shift was challenging initially, but it paid immense dividends, making his spoken English sound more authentic and less laborious. To practice thinking, Leo started narrating his day silently in English. He described his actions, planned his meals, and even debated ideas within his own head, all in English. This constant internal monologue served as a crucial rehearsal space, building his mental agility and confidence for real-life conversations. Despite his growing vocabulary and improved internal thought process, the leap from thinking to actually speaking remained daunting. The fear of mispronunciation, grammar errors, or simply sounding foolish held him back. He felt a familiar knot in his stomach whenever a speaking opportunity arose, paralyzing him. The fear of making mistakes was his biggest adversary. He worried excessively about sounding imperfect, a common pitfall for many language learners. This perfectionism stifled his progress, preventing him from taking the necessary risks to truly activate his knowledge and transform it into fluent communication. Leo eventually understood that the crucial step was simply to start speaking, regardless of imperfections. He decided to embrace mistakes as learning opportunities rather than failures. This mindset shift was liberating, allowing him to take the plunge and utter his first hesitant English words in public. Finding conversation partners was key to consistent practice. He joined an online language exchange platform and sought out local English-speaking meetups. These interactions, though sometimes awkward at first, provided invaluable real-world practice, gradually chipping away at his fear and building his conversational stamina. He learned that starting conversations didn't require complex sentences. Simple phrases like "How are you?" "What do you do?" or "Lovely weather, isn't it?" were perfect icebreakers. These small starts built momentum and confidence, proving that even brief exchanges contribute significantly to overall fluency. To talk with anyone effectively, Leo realized he needed to focus on genuine connection. He stopped overthinking grammar and instead concentrated on finding common ground. Discussing shared hobbies, current events, or even trivial daily occurrences fostered a more natural and relaxed interaction, making communication enjoyable. Asking open-ended questions became another powerful strategy. Instead of "Do you like coffee?" he'd ask, "What kind of coffee do you enjoy and why?" This encouraged longer, more detailed responses, giving him more material to work with and allowing the conversation to flow organically, reducing pressure on him. Active listening was just as vital as speaking. Leo made a conscious effort to truly hear what others were saying, not just waiting for his turn to speak. Paraphrasing what he heard and asking clarifying questions demonstrated engagement, improving his comprehension and making conversations more meaningful. He discovered the immense power of small talk. What seemed trivial actually built rapport and eased tension. Discussing the weather, local events, or weekend plans was an excellent way to warm up his English-speaking muscles without the pressure of deep, complex discussions, preparing him for more substantive interactions. Leo began to understand that effective communication was far more about conveying meaning and connecting with people than achieving perfect grammar. While accuracy was important, fluency and confidence took precedence in real-world scenarios. This realization removed immense pressure, making him less self-conscious during conversations. Consistent practice, Leo affirmed, was non-negotiable. Like building a physical muscle, speaking English required daily exercise. He dedicated specific times each day to converse, whether with a language partner, an app, or even his reflection, ensuring his skills were constantly honed and strengthened. Overcoming shyness was a gradual process. He started with familiar faces, then moved to slightly less familiar ones, slowly expanding his comfort zone. Each successful interaction, no matter how brief, boosted his confidence, making the next attempt feel less daunting and more achievable, reinforcing his progress. Improving listening skills became a parallel journey. Leo realized that understanding native speakers, especially their fast pace and various accents, was crucial for meaningful dialogue. He immersed himself in English audio, understanding that passive listening was the foundation for active comprehension and fluent responses. He started watching English movies and TV shows, initially with English subtitles, then gradually without them. This active immersion trained his ear to differentiate sounds, recognize common phrases, and understand natural conversational speed. It was challenging, but the improvement in his comprehension was undeniable. Podcasts and audiobooks became his constant companions during commutes and workouts. He selected topics he genuinely enjoyed, making listening feel less like a chore and more like entertainment. This consistent exposure to diverse voices and accents significantly refined his auditory processing, enhancing his overall understanding. Leo paid close attention to intonation and rhythm in spoken English. He noticed how native speakers stressed certain words and phrases, conveying emotion and emphasis. Mimicking these patterns in his own speech made him sound more natural and less robotic, enhancing his communicative effectiveness significantly. He practiced repeating what he heard, almost like shadowing. This technique, called mimicry, helped him internalize native pronunciation and cadence. By actively articulating the sounds he was listening to, he improved his own speech mechanics, making his spoken English clearer and more effortlessly understandable. Let me tell you some effective talking tips Leo would often advise. Start with simple sentences. Don't try to construct overly complex grammar initially. Focus on getting your message across clearly and concisely, building a solid foundation before attempting elaborate linguistic structures. Simplicity is your friend. Another tip: focus on conveying your message, not on achieving perfect grammatical accuracy. People care more about understanding your ideas than identifying every minor error. Prioritize communication flow, letting your passion for the topic shine through, and accuracy will naturally improve over time with practice. Crucially, Leo learned not to translate in his head. This mental step significantly slows down conversation and makes speech sound unnatural. Instead, he trained himself to think directly in English, connecting concepts and words without the intermediary of his native language, fostering true fluency. Using filler words naturally helped immensely, too. Phrases like well, like, or bought him precious seconds to formulate his next thought without awkward silence. While not overusing them, a moderate incorporation made his speech sound more authentic and less strained during pauses. Practice speaking aloud, even to yourself, became a daily ritual. He'd talk to his reflection in the mirror, describe objects around his room, or narrate his daily routine. This solo practice built muscle memory in his mouth and tongue, making real conversations feel less intimidating and more automatic. Recording himself speaking was initially cringeworthy but incredibly valuable. He used his phone to record short monologues or practice dialogues. Listening back allowed him to objectively identify pronunciation issues, grammatical mistakes, and areas where his intonation needed improvement, providing concrete points for self-correction and growth. Why should you practice speaking? Because it builds muscle memory for your mouth and brain. Fluent speech isn't just about knowing words, it's about the physical act of producing them effortlessly. Consistent speaking practice trains your vocal apparatus and cognitive processes to work in harmony, making communication smooth. Practicing speaking directly builds confidence. Every word uttered, every successful exchange, reinforces your belief in your abilities. As you overcome the fear of speaking and witness your own progress, your self-assurance skyrockets, making you eager for more conversational opportunities, fueling a positive feedback loop. It bridges the critical gap between passive and active knowledge. You might understand a lot of English, passive, but speaking, active, forces you to recall and apply that knowledge under pressure. This transformation from passive reception to active production is where true fluency is forged, making your learning robust. Speaking helps identify your weak areas far more effectively than any grammar exercise. When you struggle to express a certain idea or use a particular tense, it highlights a specific learning need. These real-time challenges provide invaluable feedback, guiding your focused study and targeted improvement efforts. How to talk in English comfortably. Find common ground with your conversation partner. Whether it's a shared interest in movies, travel, or food, starting with topics you both enjoy instantly eases tension. This creates a relaxed atmosphere where communication flows naturally, making the experience pleasant for everyone. Be genuinely interested in the other person. Ask follow-up questions, listen intently to their answers, and show curiosity. People love talking about themselves, and a sincere interest from your side will encourage them to speak more, giving you more listening practice and less pressure to constantly generate talk. Share personal anecdotes briefly. Don't dominate the conversation, but offer relevant short stories or experiences to illustrate your points or add a personal touch. This makes you relatable and provides the other person with opportunities to ask questions back, creating a balanced and engaging dialogue. Maintain eye contact and positive body language. A friendly smile, open posture, and attentive gaze communicate confidence and engagement, even if your English isn't perfect. Nonverbal cues significantly enhance understanding and make interactions more comfortable, bridging any linguistic gaps effortlessly and effectively. How to learn English effectively. Leo concluded it requires a holistic approach. It's not just about one skill, but integrating all aspects: reading, writing, listening, and speaking. Neglecting any one area creates imbalances, so a balanced, consistent effort across all four pillars is crucial for comprehensive mastery. He consistently combined reading for vocabulary, writing for structure, listening for comprehension, and speaking for fluency. This synergistic approach meant that improvements in one area often positively impacted the others, creating a powerful cycle of accelerated learning and deeper understanding of the language. Setting realistic, achievable goals kept Leo motivated. Instead of aiming for perfect fluency overnight, he focused on mastering specific grammatical structures or being able to hold a 5-minute conversation. Small, consistent victories accumulated, building his confidence and propelling him towards larger linguistic aspirations steadily. Making learning a daily habit was non-negotiable. Even if it was just 15 minutes of listening to a podcast or speaking a few sentences to himself, consistency was paramount. Little by little, these small daily efforts compounded, leading to significant, long-term improvement in ingrained linguistic competence. Finding a learning buddy or joining an online community provided invaluable support and accountability. Practicing with others not only offered conversational opportunities but also shared challenges and triumphs, creating a sense of camaraderie that made the learning journey less lonely and more enjoyable. How to make confidence in speaking. Leo learned to acknowledge every single step of his progress. Celebrating small milestones, like successfully ordering coffee or asking for directions, reinforced his self-belief. Recognizing how far he had come was crucial for maintaining motivation and fostering self-assurance. He celebrated small victories along the way. Each fluent sentence, every understood joke, every successful interaction was a cause for quiet celebration. These positive reinforcements gradually chipped away at his anxiety, replacing it with a growing sense of capability and eagerness for more challenges. Understanding that mistakes are an inevitable and valuable part of learning was liberating. Instead of dreading errors, he started viewing them as feedback mechanisms. Each mistake pinpointed an area for improvement, transforming potential embarrassment into practical lessons, accelerating his learning curve dramatically. Visualizing himself speaking fluently and confidently became a powerful mental exercise. Before important meetings or social events, he would mentally rehearse conversations, imagining himself speaking with ease and clarity. This mental preparation significantly reduced anxiety and boosted his on-the-spot performance. Embrace challenges as opportunities for growth, not obstacles. Difficult conversations or complex topics became chances to push his boundaries and expand his linguistic repertoire. This resilient mindset allowed him to continually evolve, transforming every linguistic hurdle into a stepping stone towards mastery. Leo's journey transformed him completely. The once timid speaker, plagued by self-doubt, now engaged in lively discussions with effortless grace. His initial struggles with vocabulary and pronunciation were distant memories, replaced by a confident, articulate command of the English language that surprised even himself. He now spoke with ease and joy, conversations flowing naturally without the heavy burden of translation. His thoughts formed directly in English, expressing complex ideas with clarity and precision. The sheer pleasure of connecting with people from diverse backgrounds through language was immensely rewarding for him. His listening skills were sharp, conversations fluid, and his ability to understand nuanced accents truly impressive. He could follow fast-paced dialogue in movies, appreciate the subtleties in English literature, and engage in debates, fully comprehending every intricate detail of the spoken word around him. Confidence radiated from him, an inspiring example for others still on their language learning path. He became a mentor, sharing his journey and practical tips, showing that dedication, coupled with the right strategies, could indeed turn linguistic dreams into a tangible, fulfilling reality for anyone. He continued to learn, forever a language explorer, knowing that mastery was an ongoing journey, not a destination. But the core transformation was complete. He had unlocked his voice, embraced communication, and found profound joy in the boundless world of English speaking, a truly rewarding achievement.